Shalom, 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 shalom. Peace and blessings to the Israelites scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom. We're back again with another Feed the Lions episode, where we always talking about different things, whether it be different doctrines that may be becoming popular amongst Israel, or just different folly things that may be going on amongst Israel, or even just things that we need to keep in mind. Just quick lessons to keep us on our toes. And today will be another quick one. We're going to be dealing with the end is not yet. That's the title. The end is not yet. Faint not. We're dealing with a lot of, especially in these times, wars, which actually have been initiated, rumors of even more wars to a grander scale, pestilence, and just different things going on in so many different places. Natural catastrophes and different things that's going on in so many different places. When that stuff's happening, it can kind of put us in a state or a spirit of anxiety or a spirit of fear. But faint not, all these things must happen, but the end is still not yet. All these things have to happen. These things must come to pass. And just know that even throughout the duration of that stuff going on and happening, you still, as long as you're leaning onto the Most High, will be protected through it all. So let's get into it. Let's open up. As I stated earlier, today's lesson is titled, "The End is Not Yet, Faint Not." So let's get into our scriptures. Let's open up. Let's start with the book of Matthew. Let's open up to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and we're going to read from verse 4 down to verse 13. And let's get a little context, because this was stated, in times past, right? In the ancient days of Rome, or whatever they want to call it, during the period of the time when Christ was alive. A lot of these things were prophesied to happen, right? It was stated that there's going to be wars, there's going to be nation that rise up against nation, there's going to be all these things that happen on such a grand scale, but those things are supposed to happen. So let's get it from the scriptures, right? Let's get it from the Most High's perspective, Yahushai's perspective. Let's open up to verse 4. And Yahushai answered and said unto them, "Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." So we already know, dealing with that, we got that white Christ, right? Caesar Borgia, the image that they decided to be painted as the image of Christ. And not even just that, but so many different doctrines and so many different false prophets that have come along and stated, okay, hey, I'm Christ, follow me into this catastrophe that happens, whether it be giving up their lives for thinking they're, worshiping someone that's righteous, or worshiping the return of Christ, or so on or so have you. But it says that many gonna come and saying that they are Christ, and they're gonna deceive a whole bunch of people, which has been happening over the years. It's still going on to this day. We bow down to, people pray to the white Jesus at church every single day, right? And the scriptures tell us that he was not white, right? And so many have been deceived, and many will continue to be deceived, right? Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're going to hear about wars, right? We actually know that wars are going on right now in this moment, and there's rumors of wars to transpire after what's been initiated. And that's going to continue to be talked about and talked about and talked about until Yahushua, until Christ returns, right? We're going to be dealing with hearing this stuff on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, it doesn't matter. We're going to continue to keep hearing this stuff, because the scripture told us that that's what's going to happen. But all of this stuff has to happen. All these things must come to pass. But even then, it's not the end. So we can't give up. We can't start falling short. We can't start becoming lax in our ways and certain things that we do when it comes to offering ourselves and attributing ourselves to the Most High. We got to stay strong even in these times, because it may feel like the end is coming, but we don't know exactly when that is. So we got to make sure that we endure all the way throughout these trials, these tribulations, these wars, these rumors of wars, the pestilence, all the kingdoms falling, all this other stuff. We have to be able to endure throughout that duration in order to be saved at the end of the day, right? Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. So this is just the beginning. right? We can't give up now. We can't become too afraid now, right? The Most High didn't even give us a spirit of fear, right? We can't keep that on. We can't always keep thinking about what's going to happen next. The government shutting down. It's going to be crazy because it wasn't never ran in righteousness, right? So it's always gonna have a chaotic end. But that's still the beginning of sorrows, right? Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So it's even telling us, even then, after all this stuff happens, they're gonna start looking at the chosen children of Israel, right? They're gonna want to convict us. They're gonna want to come after us. They're gonna want to conflict us. They want to put us through, the ringer and try to do like they did in the times of Egypt, right? All because we are the Most High's chosen, all because we believe in the Most High, all because we follow his laws, his statutes, his commandments for his name in the same way they did to Christ. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Once again, it's telling us, because that's how big of an issue these false prophets are going to cause Israel. He had to tell us twice, let us know, hey, there's going to be a few people that's come up saying they Christ, saying they prophets, and they're going to deceive a lot of people, but make sure you abstain from all that stuff. Make sure you are studying to show yourself approved. Make sure you're not just believing in man, but you're believing in God. Make sure you're proving everything that's being stated, right? You don't just follow things blindly, but understand what you're giving into. Understand what you're promoting, right? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's kind of what we go through on a day-to-day basis now, right? People treat each other like SHIT, right? The love of many has waxed cold, right? You used to be able to go to a family member's house, a friend's house, and be able to hang out, and they'll take care of you and treat you like family. Nowadays, they don't want you over there. Don't go over there. They ain't trying to help nobody but themselves. And it's because of the mindset that, that they've been put in, because they're not following after the Most High. Verse 13, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So throughout all of that, throughout all those trials, those tribulations, the kingdoms falling, rising up against other kingdoms, nation against nation, throughout all of that, we have to endure through it all in order to be saved. Otherwise, we stand no chance. Let's flip over. Let's flip over to the book of Proverbs, and let's read chapter 24 and verse 10. And it reads, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. So the Most High is telling us there's going to be a lot of adversity. There's going to be a lot of adversity. But as long as you have faith, as long as you believe in the Most High, then you should not faint in those moments. You shouldn't fall weary. You shouldn't fall weak. You shouldn't fall victim to anything else that's going on. The Most High is going to be the one to lift you up, right? Because we're leaning on the Most High, right? Let's get that in the scriptures. Let's flip over. Let's get it in the scriptures. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, and let's read chapter 33 and verse 6. Right? As we just read, if we faint in the day of adversity, our strength is small. But what does it tell us in Isaiah 33 and 6? It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So it all starts with us fearing the Most High, right? If we fear the Most High, we're going to follow his laws, his statutes, his commandments, in which we will receive wisdom, knowledge, and know how to apply those things in those moments, right? In those moments of adversity, in those moments of tribulation and trials, we're able to execute and utilize that wisdom and that knowledge that we received from the Most High, because we've been leaning on the Most High throughout that period of time. So we shouldn't fall small. We shouldn't feel small. We shouldn't feel weak in those moments. We shouldn't feel afraid in these moments, the chaotic moments, everything that's going on, right? We should look at it as, okay, this is some of the signs that the prophets was asking Yahushua about. This is what the signs they was asking Christ about. And Christ was mentioning and saying that once these things start to happen, it is the beginning of those sorrows, and it is those things must come to pass. So let's just make sure we leaning on to the Most High. Make sure we got the Most High in the forefront of our minds. So that way we have that knowledge, that wisdom, and we feel that strength of the Lord. backing us in these moments. Let's go on. Let's flip over. Let's flip over to the book of Joshua, chapter 1, and we'll start with verse 7 and we'll read through to verse 8. So we don't want to faint, in the day of adversity, right? And we understand and know wisdom and knowledge is what's going to grant us that strength in those times, right? But how do we get that, right? As we were stating earlier, we got to follow the laws, the statutes, and commandments, right? And Joshua tells us that. Let's read verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses, my servant, commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. So he's telling us, don't be fearful, don't be timid, don't be scared, don't be none of that, but be strong and be courageous, right? And observe all the law that Moses established with children of Israel during the time of Egypt, right? Lean towards those things. That's the spirit that the Most High gave us. He didn't give us a spirit of fear. He didn't give us a spirit of weakness. He didn't give us a feeble, soft spirit, right? The Lord gave us a strong spirit, right? The Lord is a man of war. He's not weak. You know what I mean? He gave us a strong spirit. Let's read verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So we keep our noses in these books, right? We keep our noses in the scriptures. We keep we keep the scriptures on the forefront of our mind, right? We drown ourselves in the word. That's how we pass the time, right? That's how we don't worry about what the world is going through and understanding that there's something greater to come afterwards. That's how we try to make sure we can have an opportunity to obtain that thing which is greater afterwards. So don't fall weak, don't fall short, don't fall weary. It's scary. There's a lot of stuff going on, but we'll be all right. We will be all right. Let's flip over. Flip over to the book of Psalms. Let's read chapter 121, and we'll read verses 7 and 8. Verse 7. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. So as long as, like we read earlier, keeping our nose in the books, right? Meditating in the book therein, day and night, making sure that we're putting the Most High in the forefront of our minds. It says that the Lord will preserve us from all evil, not some evil, not half the evil, not a little bit of evil, all of it, right? The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just, okay, I got you this time, but after that, that's it. No. The Lord is going to always preserve you and protect you. The Lord is always going to have a special place for you as long as you are abiding right by him. Right? As the children of Israel, it's our duty. We're obligated to keep these laws, these statutes, and commandments. Because if we don't, we'll be the first ones to be judged when Christ returns. And of course, we'd prefer to have a reward for our judgment as opposed to a punishment. Because the punishment is going to be worse than what we're going through now. So it's imperative that we make sure that we abstain from all the bad, the evil, the chaoticness that's going on, or chaos, whatever I should say. And stay calm, stay still, and make sure we're leaning on the Lord. All right, let's flip over. A couple more. Got a couple more. Let's flip over to the book of 2 Thessalonians. And let's read chapter 3 and verse 3. Verse 3. But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil. So once again, he's telling us that he'll preserve us, right, from all evil. The Most High he'll protect us, he'll take care of us, because the Most High is faithful. The Most High has never lied to us. The Most High has always honored his word. Even at moments where he felt like, man, I would love to just get rid of a lot of y'all, but I made a promise to your forefathers that I shall keep, right? And the Lord has always upheld his promise. Even through our ups and downs, our being in good grace with the Lord, or even being in bad graces with the Lord, he still has been there for us, and he still has been faithful and true to his word. And he's the one that's going to establish us and keep us from that evil. So let's make sure that we stay in good with the Lord. Two more. Let's open up. What were we in Psalms already? No, we were Psalms earlier. All right, let's go back to the book of Psalms. And we're going to read chapter 91, verses 1 through. Verses 1 through. We'll read the whole thing. Verses 1 through 16. It's going to stop at 8, but let's read the whole thing. The book of Psalms, verse 1, chapter 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In him will I trust. So we have to make sure we put all of our trust in the Lord. Really have faith and trust in the Lord, and understand and know that he will protect us. Right? There are some things that, of course, we're going to have to be proactive and, according to the Spirit of the Most High, whatever he bestows on each individual, we act out according to what he puts on our spirit, right? But we have to make sure and understand that we have that trust in him. We can't say we had trust in him, but we got 6 other backup plans over here because we feel like, if he don't come through on this, I'm going to do that. It ain't going to work. If it didn't work, it wasn't meant to work. The only way it's going to work is if it's supposed to work. So make sure we have that trust in him, and he has that trust in us, right? We got to show that we're trustworthy as well, too, by our actions, right? By our track record, right? All of those things to show if we're even trustworthy for him to instill that trust within us also, right? Verse 3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler. So once again, is showing how important that trust is, right? That trust, right? In other words, that faith, right? We have to have that faith in him, right? Believing in the substance of things that we have yet to see, right? In times past, the children of Israel seen miracles and seen certain things, as a whole nation. Nowadays, we have to go and believe based off of what we read from those times and the times of old days, right? I mean, so we really have to put our faith on the line and show trust with the Most High. Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day. So he's telling us whatever happens overnight, the arrow that flies by day in the modern terms would be these bombs and missiles and all these different things that are going on during this period of time. He's telling us to not be afraid of those things, right? Nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. So none of these things that they have that just destroying the world, destroying the earth, destroying the children within the earth, don't be afraid of any of it, right? It seems difficult, but if you really have that faith in the Lord and you have that trust in the Lord, it's not difficult. Verse 7, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So you're just going to see chaos right next to you, right on your left-hand side, your right-hand side. You're just seeing friends and family going through so many different things, and acquaintances, co-workers, and all these different people going through so many different things, but it says that it's not going to touch you. It's not going to touch you. It's going to pass right by you, right by you. Verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. So as long as we're dwelling within the Spirit of the Most High, and the Most High has that trust within us, he'll preserve us, like he said earlier, for us to be able to see what the wicked's reward will be, right? Or punishment for the wicked. This is a reward for the bad, and there's a reward for the good. So as a reward for the good, you'll be able to see what the reward is for the bad. So let's make sure we get him rewarded for being good. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So, no plague gonna come upon you, right? No evil shall befall thee, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone. So you'll have these angels protecting you, keeping you, uh, uh, in a fortress of righteousness that you can kind of navigate throughout all the wickedness and are unscathed by the wickedness, unless you dash your foot, right? Unless you slip or you stumble, unless you start falling short, right? So we don't want to hit our foot and now we gotta slow down. We gotta keep that pace. It's a marathon, right? Right, know that they that run the race run all, right? I believe that's what it's. I might be butchering a little bit, but it's not just a sprint, right? It's not the 100, right? It's not the 200. The 1600. It's a marathon. 3200. You got to keep your pace and you got to keep your strength. Don't get weak. Verse 13. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I shall answer him. I will be with him in trouble and deliver him and honor him. So he's telling us, as long as we call upon the Most High, as long as we're following the Most High's law, statutes, commandments, treating each other with, righteously, conducting ourselves righteously, then if we call on the Most High in those moments, in that time of trouble, the Most High will deliver us, right? He's going to honor us. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So we want to make sure that we are returning the favor, showing that trust into the Most High, showing righteousness, conducting ourselves in that manner. So that way we can have an opportunity of all this stuff, right? One more. Let's flip over to the book of Ephesians. And this we should take with us at the end of it all, right? Knowing that is far greater than just these missiles and wars and pestilence and all that stuff. It's not just a battle with the flesh, right? It's not just a battle with the physical realm. There's also a spiritual battle that we have to go through on a day-to-day basis as well. And we have to navigate spiritually in a righteous manner too, right? So those are the things that we really have to pay attention to, right? They try to do things to your subconscious and your mind and instill certain ideas or incept certain ideas in your mind to make you think contrary to what you normally would. But we got to also combat against that too, right? So we got to battle against the flesh, not be afraid, make sure that we have trust in the Most High. We got faith in the Most High. We're leaning on the Most High so that the Most High can preserve us from all these different situations, and also make sure that we're battling and fighting, combating with the spirit as well, right? So let's get that. Let's go to the book of Ephesians. Book of Ephesians chapter 6, and we'll read verses 10 through 18. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in power of his might. So once again, he's telling us to be strong, right? We read in Joshua 1:7 and said, be of good courage and of strength, right? Be strong and of good courage. So he's telling us again, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. Make sure that we don't fall short. We're not weak. We stand in our scriptures. We stand on top of everything that we need to stay on top of. Verse 11, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So like we were saying earlier, remember, it's also a spiritual battle, right? We got the war within ourselves, where we wrestle within our own flesh, our own, physical. Then we got the stuff that's going on in the world, where we got the wars and the pestilence and the catastrophes and all these different things that's going on all the other place that's within the flesh too, right? But then now you also have to worry about the spirit, right? That's really the main battle, because we know that the Most High is a spirit, and them that worship him have to worship him in spirit and in truth, right? So we got to make sure we keep a clean spirit, put on that righteous armor, put on that holy armor to protect us from all of those things. Verse 13. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all, to stand. So even after all of this, the wars, all like we said, there's a judgment day to come after that. This is just the beginning of sorrows. All of this stuff must come to pass. There's going to be another judgment after these times. So make sure we stay right. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Right? So make sure you gird it up with truth on right about you, the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, like we've been mentioning earlier, right? Trust, faith. If you faint in the day of, we don't want to be weak, right? And it's not physically weak, it's just talking about spiritually, right? We don't want to be considered spiritually weak. So above all of these things, make sure we take on the shield of faith. Make sure we're exercising faith everywhere that we go, because that's the only thing that's going to be able to preserve us in these times. It's the only thing that's going to preserve us in these times. So stand therefore, having your loins girt about you with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and at your feet shod the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So even just having that shield of faith alone will allow us to be able to quench all of the fiery darts, right? Right? They lit on fire, whatever, they just fizzle out when they come to you, because you just so fired up in the spirit, right? You just so got so much faith in the Lord, right? All the stuff, nothing affects you, nothing bothers you. Verse 17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplications for all saints. So that being said, I know it's a lot going on in the world today, right now, but stay strong. Stay strong, brothers and sisters. Stay strong. Keep your faith up. Don't faint. Don't get weary. Just keep it pushing. All these things must come to pass before we make it to the end. So the end is still not yet. That being said, shalom.